used to think light was invented only by one person, but I learned it actually exists by inventors whose contributions were often overlooked that made electricity and technology possible. Now I understand what it means to be the light, not about being the spotlight, but making the spotlight possible for others. Curiosity got the best of me, and that's when I learned about Lewis Latimer, the inventor whose improvements made reliable electric light possible. In a Text Insight article by E. Power about Lewis Latimer's work, it explains that early light bulbs used carbon filaments that burn out quickly and making electric light unreliable. According to the National Inventors Hall of Fame, his most important innovation on electric light technology was when his design produced a carbon filament that was more durable than past filaments. It's astonishing how his improvement with a single filament caused such a big impact on the technology we rely on today, even though we rarely notice that original spark. That's when I started asking myself, why do we know the name Thomas Edison, but not Lewis Latimer? Lewis Latimer actually worked with Edison and helped improve the technology that made electrical light practical. He even worked alongside people like Alexander Graham Bell, names we hear all the time, yet Lewis Latimer is rarely mentioned. What surprised me the most was realizing that innovation isn't always about being the person whose name ends up on the product. Sometimes it's about being the person who makes the product actually work. That spark really created this world. A single filament didn't exactly create your phone, but it helped shape the electrical infrastructure that made modern technology possible. Because of that, we're able to use our phones, make calls, use GPS, turn on the lights to see in the dark, and even cook our food. What surprised me the most is how overshadowed Lewis Latimer was and still is, even though his work helped spark the world we live in today. This was the first time I had ever learned about him and his great contributions to electricity. Despite facing racism and stereotyping in his time, he still chose to improve something that would benefit everyone. He wasn't being the light for recognition or fame. He was being the light for others, for you, for me, for us. That's why we should never be afraid to share our ideas or take a chance on something new. We don't need to worry about being overshadowed by ideas that seem brighter or broader. Every idea is its own filament, small but strong enough to fill a room with light. Sometimes we hold back, unsure if our spark is enough to make an impact. But being the light is never about being the spotlight. It's about creating that light for future generations. Be that light. And that is my Aldine Black History beyond the classroom.